My name is Susie Duncan and I'm the Head of Marketing at Daydot. And today we're going to be talking about the recent charity audit that we carried out. I'll get started straight away, just because we only have 30 minutes and people will continue to join as and when they've grabbed their coffee. So we'll get moving. Okay, so some quick housekeeping. The session is being recorded and will be available on our website. Questions are welcome throughout the session, so in the Q&A on Zoom, please, and we'll answer as many as possible at the end. Also at the end, a short survey will ping into your inboxes, so if you wouldn't mind sharing your opinion so we can learn and improve our webinars, we'd really appreciate it. So a quick agenda for today. So as I say, I'm Susie, so I will do a very quick intro to Daydot for those of you that haven't joined one of our webinars before. Alex is our Senior Optimisation Manager at Daydot, and he will give a quick overview of the audit and some key insights, and then hopefully we'll have some time for questions at the end. I'm sure we will. So to plough straight on, talking about Daydot, so just a quick intro. So who we work with e-commerce, recurring revenue and subscription brands. Charities fall within this because obviously transactions are made on your websites and ideally you want recurring donations. So you want that supporter journey on your website to be as smooth as possible, removing friction, answering all the questions that are running through your supporters' minds as they click through the journey on your website. You want them to be inspired with your proposition and trust your brand so that maybe they'll even double what they'd intended donating originally, and they'll suggest to their friends and family that they should donate too. No one can create the perfect website that stays relevant 100% of the time. So continuous optimization is essential to keep up with changing user expectations, which is why digital experience optimization is vital. And that's what we do. So how do we do it? Well, we superpower your customer data through research and our own methodologies, identifying opportunities to run experimentation and testing across your website. We use a separate platform to do this, so we don't touch a line of code on your website. So we'll run all the testing and give you all the insights and recommendations at the end of it, and we can help you implement that, the winning variation if you so wish. So essentially, we strive to unleash growth for our clients. Very simply, discovering opportunity, we understand your customers, and we create digital experiences that unleash growth. That's the goal. Okay, so just to give you a quick idea, here's a framework that we use to explain. Digital experience optimization, or DXO, can be done across the customer journey. So you can see the columns there: acquisition, onboarding, engagement, expansion, retention, win back. If they're going to cancel their direct debit, you want to stop them, we can optimize that process for you and make sure that you're retaining as many supporters as possible. But just highlighted in green there, you can just see the acquisition side, and that is where quite a lot of our clients start. They want to optimize that checkout, that first donation, that first conversion. And that's where the audit that we've done in the charity sector, that's where we're focusing on. We've done these in various other sectors as well. It's just to kind of bring to life the heuristic analysis and explain what that is and show the value of it really for the different sectors. Okay, so that's me. That's a quick introduction to Daydot. I didn't want to dwell on it too much. I'll now hand over to Alex, who will actually get into the nitty-gritty of the audit, share some insights, and then we'll move on to questions. So Alex, I'll hand over to you if you want to grab the screen.
Cool, thank you, Susie.
Brilliant.
Hi everyone. Okay, yeah, so as Susie said, I'm now going to walk you through the audit, sort of a top level overview of the audit and the methodology, and then a few of the key insights to bring it to life a bit. So I'll kick off by just explaining that really the goal of these audits are to identify opportunities for digital optimization. They're really the first step in that process. They're a relatively quick way of identifying some pain points that you can then go and dig into deeper with other research techniques. But really, these opportunities that we're trying to look for are there. We're trying to answer three questions essentially when we look for opportunities. The first are the drivers. So what is it that's bringing the visitors to your website in the first place? So we don't have a huge amount of impact on that. The visitors can come to your website for any number of reasons, but what we can do is adjust and optimize the experience that they see once they get there. So that's looking at the barriers. So those users that didn't donate, let's say they came to your website and they dropped off, where did they drop off and why did they drop off and why didn't they donate? And that's something we really need to understand in order to optimize the experience. And then there are the hooks. So this is what persuaded your visitors to donate. This is a really important thing to understand, because then you can relate this back to the rest of your experience for those users that didn't find the same experience and didn't actually donate. So really it's understanding those barriers and hooks. There are a number of ways that this can be done. Research really is key when it comes to digital experience optimization. It sets out the strategy for any testing that you might do. We use a blend of research methods. There are so many that can be used. Over here on the right, they're probably the most frequently used. So we've got a heuristic analysis, which is one that we always use at the beginning to identify those opportunities. Then there's web analytics analysis, which I'm sure a lot of you know and use quite a lot. Session replays are a useful tools where you can see how your users are actually interacting with your site, look at heat maps, that sort of thing. And then we have surveys and user interviews. So surveys can be just a quick question that you put on your website at certain points. So a good survey to do is on the checkout page, for example, if users are dropping out, just to understand why is it they dropped out on the checkout. So there can be an absolute goldmine of information, just one simple question at that point. And then user interviews dig a bit deeper and go beyond surveys, and they interview users and get them to perform tasks where you can watch them do it and then get them to explain what it is that they're doing and really interact with them. And that gives you really detailed insights and information. So you could use a blend of these methods to identify the opportunities that exist on your website. You don't have to use them all. And some are more time consuming and more effort than others. But today we're going to be talking about heuristic analysis specifically. So we have a framework for heuristic analysis, which covers what we call 7 conversion levers. So these conversion levers are levers that we know help influence conversion. So I'll briefly talk you through these 7 levers. So the first is relevance. So this is, does your website seem relevant to the user when they arrive? Does it have what they're expecting on that initial landing page in terms of the aims of them coming to this website? Does it feel like, yeah, okay, I'm in the right place, I'm going to continue exploring this website? Then you have trust. So with any website, it has to feel trustworthy. It has to feel like the user isn't going to get scammed on this site. And there's a number of implicit and explicit ways that a website can achieve this goal. The third is orientation. So this is simply just the structure of your website and the content architecture and hierarchy. How easy is it for the user to find what they're looking for? Is it an effort for them? Do they really have to sort of use their cognitive effort to work out where they should be going? The fourth is stimulation. So this is around value proposition. Does the user feel motivated and stimulated to donate to this cause? Is the value proposition strong enough? Fifth is objection. So with any sales process, there's going to be questions that the user has. How well does the website address these questions that the user might have? Any anxieties? Does it put them at ease and make them feel that they can continue on in their journey? 6 is convenience. So this is just how easy is it for the user to actually donate? This is often something that a lever that is most apparent on the checkout. No one likes to fill in forms. It's always an effort, especially online. Is it something I really want to do? I'm in a rush. So how convenient is this form? Can I get through this quickly? And 7 is this confirmation. This is once a user has donated, how effective is the site at reassuring users that they've done the right thing? So they feel like they're now part of a journey, part of this brand, so that they might even come back in the future and give another donation. So we look at these conversion levers, and within each of these levers, there are a number of questions. In total, there are over 50 questions within our framework. And for this audit, we looked at a number of different charities and analyzed their websites all under the same framework. So just going into a bit more about the audit, we audited 9 charities, some very well-known charities that I'm sure you've all heard of. And the results overall were mixed. So some were really very good. So the score was out of 35 in total. So we've got a high of 29 and a low of 18. So overall, it was a pretty good performance across the board. This is just an example of sort of a final score, ranking each of the conversion levers. So if we just take a broad look at the highlights across all of the brands. So where most charities did really well was relevant. So that's just really ensuring that when a user gets their website, they know where they are. And it's relevant to perhaps the Google search that they came off from, or the social media post that they came from. Those websites are relevant, and they're doing a good job in that sense. The value propositions on the whole were pretty good and prominent, and it gave the users a decent reason to go on and donate. And then also the confirmation pages were good. They did a good job of telling users once they donated what happens next, what happens with their money. It made them feel part of the brand. Where there was perhaps room for improvement was objection and convenience, and also trust. So this is trust as a way of making users feel safe that they're giving their credit card details online, objection of any questions they might have. Perhaps the charities in this audit didn't address those objections too well. And then convenience, this was something across the board that could be improved, just making it easier for users to actually donate, making the process as seamless and quick as possible. So what I'm going to go through now is just go through a few key insights to sort of bring this to life and to show a bit more about what it all means. So this is an example from a website where we're looking at the value proposition. So there was relatively low visibility of reasons to donate, and we felt that might actually be reducing donations. So the heuristic data shows us that there isn't really a story being told here about why users should donate and get a sort of a resonance with this brand. The content for why to donate was placed far down the page below the fold and away from the donate CTA, so that making the user work to look for reasons to donate, not up by the CTA where they're going to be entering the amount they want to give and then also click the donate CTA. So I think there really is an opportunity here to increase the emotional resonance with users. That's making the users feel linked to this brand and this cause that they're working on. So adding quantifiable value proposition statements alongside any given donation amount. So that might be an example of, if you donate £10, this will help with X, Y, and Z. And you put that up by the donate up at the top, so users can really understand what it is that their £10 will achieve. This is something that's quite common, and we've tested it. So this sort of similar test on Shelter, which did aim to sort of better demonstrate the value proposition to users, and that resulted in an 8% increase in revenue per user. Hang on. This is the same brand that we're looking at here, and we're looking at the number of interaction elements that we thought could lead to confusion. So on this particular brand, what we've got here is there's 2 interaction elements and boxes. So you've got the donate box at the top right, and then you also have another box just below the donate area, which is asking users to choose where the donation goes. So these are 2 areas of the site, both above the fold, that the user can interact with, but it's unclear if the user has to interact with both, one or the other. And that there just gets the user to pause and think, and gets them to create unnecessary friction of what the users do. Really, all we want them to do is to donate at this point. We've got them this far. We'd love them to just donate some money and move on in the journey. But this choose where your donation goes isn't linked to that donation. So they could start interacting here, select an option, but then it takes them somewhere else. So really what we want to do is combine these 2 elements. So I think there's an opportunity to test here to combine these two modules to improve the clarity and reduce the effort to engage. This, in our research, it did come up that users were really interested in knowing where their money goes to within a brand, or to what specific cause it goes to. So it's not that choose where your donation goes is useless and just in the way. It's just that it could be better incorporated into the donate module so that we aren't creating two separate elements for the users to engage in. This is now an example of a form field. So this particular form field lacked what we call microcopy, and that causes ambiguity. So with form fields, really what you want is to reduce ambiguity and to reduce friction. So you want the user to know exactly what they need to fill in and why they need to fill it in. So microcopy is one really great way to help achieve this and to justify why information is needed. So more often than not, you'll see on forms, they'll ask you for details that you're not really sure why they're asking you. So it could be your address, it could be your email address, it could be your phone number, and you're thinking, I don't really need to give you my phone number. Why are you asking for my phone number? So by providing microcopy to explain and justify why that's needed, it can help alleviate that anxiety that users have. Is one really easy way just to get the user to not worry too much and keep them moving through the form. Additionally, inline validation is a really good way to save time and frustration. You've probably seen a lot of forms whereby you'll fill in your email address, for example, and then it will validate that that's correct and you haven't got any mistakes, or that is a valid email. That is a really good way of doing it as you go, because if you get a form and a user starts filling it in and they get to the bottom of the form, they click submit, and then it comes up with 5 errors. That's now a lot of effort for the user to go back, find those errors and work out what it is that's wrong. So it's much better to do it as they go, if that's possible. It also gives a little boost for the user every time they get one right. So that is a good way to keep a user moving through a form. We did a lot of work with the Wall Street Journal, specifically looking at their app and getting more users to download and subscribe to the Wall Street Journal via their app. The initial form within the app was long and clunky. So we did a lot of work to improve the clarity across that form, which increased total submits by 26%. Repty credibility. This is something whereby a lot of brands, what I mean by repty credibility is you have presumed and repty credibility. So presumed would be, we all know with any given brand, say Nike, we know that that's a good sports brand, and we know that what we buy from Nike is going to be a decent quality. Our repty credibility is reinforcing that on the website with things such as testimonials. So it could be a celebrity, it could be a figure of authority, it could be users that have already used the brand and can leave a review and reinforce that they found value from this brand. So adding testimonials onto a donation page is one way of exactly doing that. So this leverages social proof and can alleviate any potential anxieties that a user may have around the effectiveness of this brand, of this charity, in motivating users to donate. So testimonials are one way to do that. Authority with certain, there might be certain patrons that are linked to the brand, to the charity, that can help users, give them that nudge to carry on moving and feeling like, yeah, okay, this is a charity that actually is going to help make a difference. We did a test like this on RSPB that included user reviews to help boost credibility, and that achieved a 6% increase in user conversion rate. I believe this is the final example, and this is based around trust. So we found, as I mentioned before, that trust was one area where the charity audit fell down. And trust is so important on the checkout at the moment. So making users feel like there is a sense of security, that they're not being scammed, that their credit card details are safe, is really important. So we found with this particular charity, although the forms were really simple to use, which was great, there was nothing to alleviate any payment anxiety for users. So there's a number of different ways to do this. Trust seals and global payment secure badges are a really good way. A very simple way to just make a user feel like there is security on the site. And then beyond this, sometimes things like an FAQ section can work to help address common concerns that users might have. FAQs doesn't work for every website, but for some it does. And in there you can put details around when the payment is going to be taken, if the payment is going to reoccur, what date is it going to reoccur, those sort of things that any user might worry and freak out a little bit about when entering their credit card. So we did a similar test on Hearst magazines, which we did actually add an FAQ section to help address all of those anxieties that users had, and that led to a 2% uplift and a reduction in drop-offs. So the way we identified those anxieties was simply just by a survey on the checkout page that gave us, we put it up and it gave us a goldmine of information around why users weren't moving on to the next stage. And it was all to do with concerns around payment and security. So knowing that, it was easy to then use those insights to inform our testing strategy and make the page feel like it was more secure. So that's just the sort of top level overview of the audit and some insights. So with any site, we can analyze and make recommendations about your website, hopefully to improve its conversion and the average donation value that you're seeing. When we look at audit packages, we have a number of different packages ranging in prices and depth. It goes back to really looking at those research methods that we looked at the beginning. How many of those methods do we draw on, and how deep do we go with the insights? This information, I believe, will be sent out to you, so you can have a look at this when it does. But I think that is everything for today. Just a quick overview. So if there are any questions, please let me know.
Thanks, Alex. That's really good. Perfect timing as well. Perfect timing. We have got time for questions. Unfortunately, we don't have any at the moment. So if anybody wants to drop any in the panel or raise their hand and I can go to you, please do. Just to mention that, I mean, obviously that's just the tip of the iceberg to what can be done with optimization. So if you are doing some of that internally, you are identifying opportunities yourselves and implementing tests, brilliant. We could potentially talk to you. We'd love to talk to you about how you can push your program forward. And if you aren't doing an audit just at the moment, do get in touch and we can chat to you about how we could potentially help you do that, or how you can implement that internally yourselves. So there's a massive scope available. I don't think there still isn't any questions. A nice comment there, great presentation. Heuristic analysis was really powerful. So that's great. I'll just double check there's no question there. Don't worry, we will be recording the session. Somebody missed the first 10 minutes. So we will be it has been recorded and we will send that out to you, so don't worry about that. You may have just missed me talking about Daydot, but you won't miss that. We'll send that out. So I think that there isn't any questions. You've covered everything, Alex. So I think we'll call it a day and give everybody 10 minutes back. If you do think of a question afterwards, then please just get in touch. My email will be there and one of my colleagues will contact you after. And look out for the survey, please. Have a good day, everybody. Thanks for dialing in.
Thank you.